Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, and welcome to another event video for Marvel Strike Force. Today, we're going to be talking about Iron Fist World War II. Now, I kind of forgot that his event is starting tomorrow, so my apologies for the later video. I was actually thinking that I'd release this video tomorrow morning, but no, we need to get this out now. So, we're going to be talking about Iron Fist and his event, Immortal Invader, and the crazy amount of blitzing that you're going to have to do if you want to get him unlocked, or if you want to get him up to 4-star free-to-play, because if you blitz enough, then as you know, just like the Kang event that happened before this, that you'll have a pretty good way to get shards, as long as you're willing to put in the work. So if you want to know how to do all of that, then you know what to do, everybody. Let's boil this down. And just to start things off, I want to do a final recap for the month of April. And we're looking okay. We're not looking as good as previous months, but we're not bad. So our free-to-play subtotal for our points, now, like I said, you're not necessarily going to have all of this right now, but all of the points being added up, we're at 777,000. So that gives you a rough surplus of about 27,000 points. What this means is that you didn't need to finish some of these alliance-based events. So the Spoils of War, possibly even the Masters of Judgment that happened twice, because some of those final milestones may be difficult for some alliances to clear. So just know that you can still miss some of this stuff while fully completing the other events, and you should be able to get to your 750,000 points. So just wanted to do a quick recap on that so you guys know that you will be able to get to the end. Now, we typically are, but the amount of surplus points varies from month to month. So that's kind of why I keep on track of this. So let's talk about the event milestones. Now, I want to do them in, not this one. So we're going to come to this second and third. We need to talk about the funnel milestones is what I'm going to call it. So we're going to start off here with the Clips of Kunlun. Now, this is a web milestone, so make sure that you're checking your the web store, basically every day, like you should. Now, this involves spending power cores, and why this is important is because, well, I mean, you get a decent amount of orb fragments out of this, and depending on how much cores that you're willing to spend. So I want to kind of bring this up for the Clips of Kunlun. This is the chart here. Now, what's interesting about this one is it also has cap World War II shards. So you can get, I would say, a reasonable amount of shards, so it would be 15 for cap, and then you get this 5 red star cloak, which is around 2,300 power cores spent. Now, after this point, it's not super amazing. I think you could get to about 2,600. I think this is reasonable for most players. It really just depends on how many cores that you're willing to spend during this event. Now, we have the next milestone, which is involving energy spending, which is ISO and campaign energy. So that's basically where you're going to get a good chunk of your power core spending daily in. Outside of that, there's probably not a huge amount of reasons to spend power cores. If a character orb is there and you really want to just blow a couple of power cores doing that on some orbs, then you can go for that. But otherwise, there's not a whole lot of things to buy right now. Now, come Friday, we're going to have the Firestar offer. So I don't know if you want to double dip and pick up a few Firestar orbs, which will be for 675. That'll go towards this milestone as well, because this will still be running. So there's a couple of ways that you can double dip on this. But if you're just spending with power cores for energy, you're probably not going to get much higher than about milestone 14. There is 10 more cap shards down here at 4,500 cores spent. But I really wouldn't do this unless you're going to be double dipping with Firestar orbs or something like that. I mean, you don't, for 10 shards, it's not really worth pushing for, even for the extra Iron Fist orbs. I mean, only if you're double dipping. So just wanted to go over that really quickly. This is basically your daily power core intake. Now, this is, hopefully everyone's been hoarding power cores, just because we have so many various events throughout the month that requires power core spending, whether it's directly or indirectly. And you get about 125 daily, like everybody gets this. So high roller, if you do 1 million-ish gold, the energy milestones and the daily objectives give you about 125. And then there's arena. So including Arena, you're probably getting about anywhere from 175 to 425 cores daily, depending on where you score in Arena. I'm not including like the top, this is outside the top 10. I believe that the 425 would be top 20 in your Arena shard, and then it goes down a little bit from there. If you're in the top 5, then kudos to you. You're probably raking in a crap ton of power cores anyways. The Fists of Rage daily web milestone. Actually, I don't know if this is a web milestone, but it's a daily milestone anyways. This is involving ISO 8 and regular energy energy spending. Now, the main milestone marks for this is 2,000 energy and 2,800 energy spent. So for 2K energy, you're getting about 1 orb every single day. For 2,800 energy, you're getting about 2 orbs daily. Now, sometimes the 2 orbs can get really hard to get, but if you actually save your energy refreshes at a particular time, you may actually be able to overlap this every other day to get yourself an extra orb. So it kind of depends on if you want to have a 1 orb every single day for 7 days, or if you want to do 2 orbs every other day or so. And it kind of, I guess it probably ends up being the same, but just depends on how you want to line this up for your energy spending. So just keep that in mind as well, that you can do this, but it requires, depending on your time zone and your refreshes and things like that, to be able to score the 2,800 energy. Now, how much do you get every day? You get about 1,100 campaign energy free to play. This is your energy, just your time-based energy, your free refreshes that are happening 3 times a day, and up to 4 core refreshes for 480 energy, and your 100 web milestone. That gives you 100 for a grand total of 1,108. Your ISO energy is a little bit the same, but you do get a little bit more for your daily time, because I believe you get an energy every 4 minutes rather than 5. And then you get the same refreshes. You get a free ISO pack, and if you want to do extra refreshes with your cores or your ISO packs that you've saved, the energy packs, I always do that, by the way. If you haven't done that by now, make sure you're doing this, whether it's for coordinated assault or for things like this. I always almost have a full cap of my energy packs, and this allows me to save on cores. Now, I guess what that means is for this core spending milestones that I'm not actually spending as much physical cores, but nonetheless, I'm going to be able to spend the energy pretty easily for that, so that's pretty good there too. So that's about 1,080 energy. So together, that's about almost 2,200 energy. So that's more than reasonable to get to this, 1 orb daily at 2,000 energy. Just make sure that you're keeping on top of everything so that you can make sure you get that. If you do miss a few refreshes here and there, you may struggle a little bit to get that 2,000 energy, but it's really important that you get that 1 orb daily at least, so that you can put that towards the main milestone, which is what we're going to go into. I want to kind of take a look at this, the Fists of Rage, though. What do you get out of this? A lot of it's just catalyst-based stuff. There's some fragments in here, some armory fragments, some legacy orb fragments, some training orb fragments. Nothing super critical. Obviously the main point of that is going to be to get as many of the Immortal Ally orb fragments as you possibly can for this. And same with the Clips of Kunlun. It's not a super crazy milestone really either, but try to push these as much as you can. So now we have the Immortal Invader chart. This is the main milestone. We're going to get to the math of this as well. As you can see, that it's pretty typical rewards in here. The main thing is going to be the victory flags and also the event item, which comes at 61,000 points. And what's interesting compared to the Kang event is there, as far as I'm aware, there is no actual Iron Fist shards anywhere in this main milestone, which is a little bit weird, because if you actually take a look at the text, it kind of suggests that there is. So collect Immortal Ally Orb fragments. That's how you get the points, to earn the points towards the milestone that rewards Iron Fist character shards. So there, and it mentions the other stuff which is in the milestone. So I don't know if that's a mistake, because I'm doing this video before it actually shows up in game. But nonetheless, once we go through the math, if they do end up adding shards into this milestone, then you'll get more. But as it sits right now, we're kind of a little bit under what the event gave us for the Kang event. So that's interesting. We'll see how this develops, though, and if that's important. So the Immortal Invader, this is a 7-day event starting tomorrow at 2 p.m., and it's going to be running until May the 2nd, which I believe is the closure of the April month-long event as well. Now, I have this off to the side here because this was the estimated value of the Kang Orb from February. I believe it was in February when we had the Kang event, the He Who Remains event. And that was about 2.775 shards. Now, the minimum shards per orb was 2. If you guys remember, most of the time people did get 2, but because of the other drops that were included in there, that you could actually get more. I believe that you could get all the way up to 25 shards in an orb, but that was super rare. So what I'm probably going to do with this event is the same thing I did with Kang, is I'm going to be saving all of my orbs and doing a big orb opening at the very end of the event to see what we get out of that. So the total milestone points, and this is involves, I said, this is a blitzathon, right? Like, that's what we were talking about. The power cores and the energy was the other stuff, the other milestones that we just talked about. So it's 220,000 milestone points. You're probably not getting there, but who knows? You know, maybe, I don't even think if you blitz as much as you can, I don't think you're getting there. Those are the Whalestones. We know that, right? Like, it's no surprise, because once you kind of get past a certain point, the milestone numbers really jump, like 114,000, 140, 160, 180, 220. What are you missing out of there? There's some Elite 6 credit orbs in there. There's some ions. But these are all things not meant for us regular plebs. It's meant for the people who spend for additional milestone points, because you can just flat out buy them most of the time in the store. So, you know, that's no surprise there. Let's talk about the reasonable amount of math that you could do for that, though. There's 23,000 victory flags in there. Our main goal is 61,000. That's just for the event item, but obviously you want to blitz as much as you possibly can to get more shards for Iron Fist. Now, there's a total amount of available fragments, orb fragments, in the Clips of Kunlun event of 38,000. That's the power core one, but you're not going to get that. That's like if you literally, you know, finish the whole thing. The only way you would get that is if you're willing to double dip and you want to spend 10,000 power cores by, I don't know, a combination of, you know, energy and buying Firestar orbs, like I mentioned before. Otherwise, there's not really a reasonable way that you're going to want to get to the 10,000. But, you know, if you're double dipping and you really are into Firestar and Cosmic Crucible, then I would recommend using it on that orb, because that's probably the best way for you to get points here as well. So if you're able to do that, that's great. But the reasonable fragments, I would say, is 8,500 out of this milestone. That's milestone 14, which is equivalent to about 370 cores daily, which might sound like a lot, but if you've been saving your power cores for this kind of event, then that shouldn't be too much of a problem, because really you should be saving your power cores for major events. Total fragments available, though, through the Fists of Rage milestone is, you know, either 4,000 or 2,000. That's why I put this as yellow, because, you know, you may not get this, the 2 orbs every day. But what's reasonable, I would say, is 1 orb daily. So for the purposes of the math, I have included this with the 1 orb daily. I'm just going to... Wow, I totally screwed that up. I was trying to zoom in a little bit more. There is going to be a free claim, but of course I don't know what the value of that is, and normally it's pretty garbage. So I'm just, you know, you might get something out of it. Maybe if we're lucky, we'll get like 1 additional orb, but I wouldn't count on it too much. Now, for this event, I have put the average orb fragments per blitz win, and I want to kind of restate that. It's a blitz win. I know in the past we have had occasional blitz battle events, but for these kind of events, you do need to win your blitz matches, so that's really important. I put it at 45. Now, the minimum drop is 15. This was changed with, it might have been in the Dark Beast event as well, but it was definitely there for the Kang event, and this was a reduction from, you know, previous events in the past. So the minimum orb fragment is 15, but that's actually pretty rare. So I used to say that the average orb fragment was 50, but I've kind of lowered it to about 45 because of the minimum drop being at 15. So for that in mind, that's what we're doing with our blitz rotations. Now, I'm also doing this with 40 teams in mind. I do believe there's maybe 46 teams that you can compile now, and maybe at a later point I'll bump this up to 45, but I just want to put it at 40 because I know that not everyone is going to win every single blitz match that they do in their rotation. So if you do 45 times 40, you're going to get 1,800 fragments per blitz rotation. You could win more with RNG. In fact, I think that you can get a full orb if you're super lucky. You know, it goes as high as 2,000. There's different multiples. There's like, it goes up to 50, 100, 250, 500, 1,000, you know, so on and so forth, up to 2,000 to a full orb. Now, if you do this with 4 rotations a day, you're going to get 7,200 orb fragments. If you do this for 8 rotations a day, you're going to get 14,400 orb fragments, or roughly 7 orbs a day. So that's quite a bit. Now, it really depends on how much work that you want to put in to get the shards for Iron Fist. So if you do about, say, 4 rotations over 7 days every single day, you know, you're going to get about 25 orbs, more or less, on 4 rotations. And that will probably, you know, get you somewhat close to unlocking them. Know that if you do want to unlock Iron Fist, that you're probably looking at 4+ rotations a day at a bare minimum. Now, if you do 8 rotations over 7 days, you're looking at double that amount, which is just about 50 orbs or so as well. And you can look at the fragments that you get from this. So this is like about 100,000 fragments just from the blitzing portion. Of course, that doesn't include the other milestones as well, in terms of like where you can reasonably get. So that's 61,000 points for the event milestone. You know, you basically need to do 4 rotations a day plus the other milestones to get you to the event item. So that's kind of what you're looking at. We always usually have one of these harsher events every month, and this one's going to be it. Now, what kind of fragments can you get? Shards for Iron Fist total. You know, so if you do 4 rotations daily, you do get a total of 72,900 orb fragments. So that's the blitzing from this 50,400, plus the power core milestone, and plus the energy milestone. That's a total of about 36.5 orbs, and multiplied by the estimated value back up here at 2.775 will get you a value of shards of 101. So that is a 3-star. So that's an unlock 3-star if you haven't done any more. Also, actually keep in mind you get 5 for free. That was previous. So this is actually like 106 shards. So you are going to get an unlock for doing 4 rotations daily. Now, if you do want to push a little bit further and you do 6 rotations daily, you're looking at like a 3.5 star. You know, that's going to be about 141 shards with the 5 for free that came from one of the free claims. It's not quite 4, so if you really do want to get that 4-star free to play, then you're kind of looking at the max rotations possible. You're looking at the 8 rotations daily. That's going to get you to about 171 shards with average orb luck, plus the 5 from the free claim is 176. Now I know that's not 180, but you know what that means is that you just need like a little bit of luck, Or had you pulled an Iron Fist orb prior, or even if it's still available before the event goes live, then you could do that. If you're looking to get a 4-star free to play on Iron Fist, then I'd recommend just pulling one character orb before the orb goes away, and that way you can make sure that you get the 4-star free to play. But nonetheless, it's going to be a crap ton of blitzing. Like, if you've done Kang and if you've done Dark Beast, then you know that this is going to be a lot of blitzing for you to get through. But is it worth it? Is it worth it for Iron Fist? That's going to be entirely your call. At the very least, I would try to get them unlocked because that's going to be very important. But if you really want, you know, whether you want to push yourself to that 4-star or higher would depend on you and what your value is for the Invaders team. You guys might have saw in the beginning of the video that I actually do have 51 shards for Iron Fist. Yes, I pulled some 675 power core orbs. Why did I do that? I thought I'd get lucky. I just tested my luck and it wasn't super lucky. So, but with these 51 shards that I have plus the event, I should probably be able to get it a 4-star, you know, with a reasonable amount of blitzing on my own end. So that's basically why I did it, because I do hate blitzing like many of you, I'm sure, and I don't want to stick my face in my blitz screen for 7 days straight. So this was a way for me to compensate for that and be able to get his 4-star still. So that's the end of this video, everyone. Let me know what you think about this event. I kind of know what the comments are going to look like, but let me know anyways. And good luck on your blitzing to unlock Iron Fist World War II, who is going to be the final character of the Invaders team for you guys to probably get your raid simming going, because you need him to get the energy for Cap. That's it, everyone, and until next video, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. And don't forget that my charts and my tables will be available on Discord later on today. So that's everything, and I'll see you on the next video. Boilon signing out.